You can fund if you want to. You can leave your fund behind because your friends don't fund, and if they don't fund, well, they're no fun of mine. Welcome back, everybody, to Friends Occasionally Not Disagreeing, the Fun Pod. We're back here again with our 80s connoisseurs. We got Matt, Brett, and Justin in the house. I'm Cody. Joe is out on this one. Again, we'll hopefully get him in the next episode here, but we are back to count down songs 80 through 61 in this second installment. Anybody have anything they have been up to they haven't mentioned recently on the pod?
I can take point on this one. So recently, the sequel to a rather divisive game made by a rather divisive person has dropped, and the original game had been free on the Epic Game Store a while back. So I decided, well, hell, I'm just going to say what it is, because I intend, even if I'm just solo, to do a classic or crap episode on this. It's Death Stranding. Um, my fellow hosts, I think, are aware of my thoughts on Hideo Kojima. But I decided first game was free, and so I may as well give it a shot, see if it's all it's cracked up to be. I'm only maybe an hour into it, maybe an hour and a half. I don't really know because Hideo Kojima doesn't know how to end a fucking cutscene. But I can already say that the man is still entirely so high on his own farts he could float to the moon. Like it's just in the span of time that I've played this game, there's like a dozen terms that he's thrown out there that are not defined except for like one of them. There's BTs and BBs. There's repatriates, which I think is the only term that he's bothered to define at this point. There's void outs. There is dooms, all in caps. There are chiral allergies, which shrug. There's the term Death Stranding itself, and there's these weird little floating bug things that I are brought up. They're named. I don't remember what they were called. Apparently, if you eat them, it staves off something else that I forgot the name of. We'll see. I I'm going
Sound
to give this
excited.
I'm going to give this the same chance that I gave Andor season two, because that also started off really rough, and I ended up liking it by the end. I'm not holding my breath, but maybe Death Stranding will turn out the same way, and I will come to actually want to buy the second game. But right now, oh man, it's a hard swallow. Um, that's been pretty much the main new thing for me since last time we talked. What about the rest of you guys?
Let me see here. Games wise, the only thing I've been playing lately a lot of is I've been finding randomizers a lot, getting kind of into them. I'm trying to find a way to get a copy of the Super Metroid Link to the Past randomizer to Cody so that he can play an iteration of that. I think he would really truly appreciate it. Not quite sure how to do that. I'm trying to get a Super NES emulator on my PlayStation Mini so he could play it that way, because that way I've also hacked that to have Symphony of the Night on there, which I also know he hasn't played, and it's
True.
also something he should play. So my goal is to get that on there and then somehow get that off to him. Um, but it's also trying to find, like, you really got to know Super Metroid and Link to the Past pretty well. Like, you kind of got to replay them before you go into a randomizer. But it's really quite cool. There's links between the two games, and you'll find I don't know, like the last iteration I played, I didn't find the first sword till like halfway through. I was beating bosses with a stupid hammer. Um, there's all sorts of shit that can happen in that. I also played a Hollow Knight randomizer, which I thought was really quite fun. I added a whole bunch of other shit into it. Like there's a mod that adds like a whole bunch more charms, and I had charm notches and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun playing with that.
Nice.
That does sound fun. Although I do feel the need to point out, for legal reasons, that we here at the Fun Pod do not condone any sort of piracy or illegal obtainment of games that you do not already own. Um,
Yeah, but I own them all.
there we go. See, yeah. So just need to put that out there for legally binding, and
Cut
you
it out
know,
if you want to.
safeguarding reasons.
Yeah, cut it out if you want.
Always making work for me. God.
uh,
Uh, we over here have been, it's actually been like a few weeks in planning already in prep work, but we decided that we want to do a bit more like gardening this summer and this year, just a thing to get us outside and just enjoy the yard a bit more. And so rather than Cody's famous phallic garden, building a bunch of we're doing a bunch of like raised bed gardening. So while I haven't been digging holes, I have been hauling in hundreds of pounds of topsoil to fill these boxes. So that's been a lot of exercise and breaking my back a little bit, but it's been kind of fun also. It's like, it's satisfying to have all this put together. Now we got potatoes and tomatoes and onions and some other stuff planted. We have a couple blueberry bushes, only one of which I have planted. The other one I've got to get in over the next week or so here. But yeah, that's been a big kind of ongoing thing that we are actually finally have moving now. So
you're making me feel very bad because my wife is very into gardening and does a whole bunch of gardening, and she's like, "Well, do you want to help me?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't." I made this decision a long time ago that I'm never weeding again.
Oh, you're my wife.
I do some stuff. I water her when she wants me to. I carry the hose around, and yeah, but I'm a bad person.
Well, over here, I can say a phrase that I don't think I've ever said on this podcast before. Since I'm mentioning the last couple podcasts here, I've actually played through and finished 2 video games, which is pretty remarkable. So we have, real quick, I played through What Remains of Edith Finch, which, not much of a game per se, but just kind of a walk around and check out what's going on with the family story in the house, and that was interesting, but not a lot of gameplay per se. Give that like a 6.5. And then also I played through a game. I still don't actually know how to pronounce it. Called Gris, I think, Gris. Anybody's seen that one before? Had that downloaded for quite a long time and just haven't played it as well. But it's a platformer where you're essentially adding colors to the world as you go through and unlocking different colors and adding different things in. So that's
Is it
been
just me or did Justin disappear?
not just you. But that was pretty fun and good platforming, good jumping, and you get a couple powers, not like totally souped up, but beautiful looking game. I would say maybe like 7 just for how short it is. It's only about 5-6 hours long, I would say. So a lot of fun there. And we'll pause a second here and see if Justin's back in.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Okay, sorry about that. My
Blew a
internet
fuse
just
because he's in the dark now.
No, it's apparently Nintendo's lawyers were listening and just completely scuttled my internet for a second there.
My internet has been really on the fritz, by the way. So if I disappear, I'm sorry. Well, I was gone for a week in Florida. My nephew was staying here, and he couldn't make things work, so we reset some things, and that took away my Mocha network. I tried to get it reset up, but it's not working yet. I don't know. So if I disappear, I apologize.
I just stepped on this with my foot, apparently. That was in the carpet. I don't know why, so that was...
I didn't see any blood on it, so that's good.
Well, that's probably good, I guess. Put that up there. Okay, well, we're having good times here. We're having good times here. All right, we'll jump back in here proper. Wait, Justin, did you get a chance to say what you did?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll jump back in here then. We're headed into songs 80 through 61. Before we get to that, just go back to the first episode of this if you want to listen to fully how we came up with the countdown total. But I will say this is different than other countdowns we've done on the podcast, which is usually each of us sharing a list that's a surprise to everybody else. This is a little different because we know the results. We're just kind of giving them to you, our dear listeners. But I did want to ask on the onset of this one, do you guys feel like you have a specific genre of 80s music that is your favorite genre? I can go first to give you a second. Mine probably is actually new wave. I enjoy quite a bit of the music there. Driving around with a couple of the stations in Grand Theft Auto Vice City was always a real treat to me with some of the stuff they play on there. So,
for me, I think I touched a bit on this the last time we all got together, where I'll kind of listen to pretty much anything. But for whatever reason, female vocalists really seem like they elevate whatever genre they're in the 80s. So I don't really have a specific favorite genre, but in terms of like the gender of the vocalists, I guess that's the closest thing I can say. I like female singers from the 80s. So
We will definitely see as this list continues from my side, but definitely my list leans very heavily towards the hard rock metal side of the 80s sounds. So it definitely is much higher for me on list than the pop or new wave or any of that other kind of stuff that is probably more stereotypical 80s sound.
Matt, you got a favorite?
It's hard to say because sorry, a bunch of random shit started playing on my screen. Second, there we go.
those Nintendo lawyers, I tell you.
No,
Nintendo lawyers.
It is more diverse an era than I think we give it credit for. I mean, if I had to pick what my favorite genre of the 80s is, again, it's not necessarily dedicated to that 80 to 89 era, but I would say synth rock. But I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of other shit that also is in that decade that's also really good. A lot of good show tunes, a lot of good movie scores, stuff like that. Also, kind of encompasses that decade for me musically, but this we're just sort of focusing on songs. So I'm thinking of like radio type stuff. But yeah, I gotta go with that synth rock sort of either retrospective or positive vibes.
Nice. Nice. All right. Well, we'll kick it off here. This is episode 2 of our Summer Sizzlin' Spectacular. Let's take a look here. Number 80. It is the first of 2 songs by Mr. Billy Idol that we'll see on our countdown. This is Rebel Yell. And my trivia question for you guys is, did you know that you can repeat a word 54 times in a song and still have it kick ass? Because you can. What a great high energy song this is from me here. Rebel Yell.
Is that more? Is that the song? Is that the
It
word?
is more, yeah. Brett had this up at number 16. So, Brett, you want to kick off on this one?
Yeah, sure thing. Honestly, I'm surprised that it was not higher on more people's list because I think of this song very highly. But again, it probably comes down in part to, as we were just talking about, the different subgenres within 80s music. Probably don't necessarily think about this as an 80s song necessarily, but I mean, right from the very first beats of the song is just so fun and catchy. And Billy Idol has a really, really great rock voice. And I think if he had, I mean, he definitely had, several hits, but I think if he had more creativeness behind him or somebody to like help him write songs, maybe I don't know why this process was precisely, but like his voice is great. If he had more creativeness, I think he would have been like much bigger than he was. But this is just, like I say, just very high energy and very fun and love the voice. So.
Yeah, it is definitely a very, like as you said, high energy, very driving kind of song, where it just it does slow down at points, but not for long, not for much, and not for long. It just has a really good rhythm, really good beat. It is, as Cody said, a little repetitive, but I think it still works. I greatly enjoyed this one.
It makes me think of the movie Big.
Oh.
It's in the movie Big. Like they're
Yeah.
watching it on TV. I don't know. And like I remember trying to figure out like what the song was at one point in time. It's certainly a cool song. And I do like it. But unlike Brett, my taste does not fall in the metal side of 80s or the hard rock side of 80s, so we're probably a little bit diametrically opposed here, but it certainly deserves to be on any list of 80s highlights, I would say.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, not much else for me. Just again, like Brett said, really high energy song, really fun all the way through. I mean, normally if I read that statistic, I'd be like, this can't be a good song, but it
Right.
is. It's good.
Yep.
So it's good all the way through. Just didn't make my 100,
Is that the
but
one that
it's
says in the
good.
midnight hour?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's somewhat
You
more,
guys
more,
want
Okay,
more?
more.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, next up we have number 79, Styx, making their only appearance on the countdown. This is Mr. Roboto. Matt had this up at number 8, so I'll kick it to you.
All right. This is, I said there won't be many long-winded stories on this one, but this is the one. Again, I mentioned this YouTube channel I listened to several times already, this Professor of Rock guy. Anyway, he did one on like perceived mistakes of bands that turned out to be like highlights later on in their career. Anyway, one of those was Roboto. Obviously, it kind of broke up the band in '83. Like that album, like it destroyed them. But it's kind of a notorious song for that, in all honesty. But everybody loves it, and they just don't say it, sort of a thing, I think. Anyway, I wrote this comment on his YouTube channel. If I ever got the chance to talk to Weird Al Yankovic, I would share the following anecdote. By the way, I'm going to see Weird Al on Wednesday.
Oh,
nice.
I would share the following anecdote, and I have no doubt it would at very least make the dude smile. Back in middle school, I was at the very bottom of the social ladder. I'd be constantly made fun of for anything I did, and it didn't matter what. I don't think I understood that it didn't matter that what they were making fun of, what I liked, what I watched, what I listened to, and for some reason during the period which this anecdote take place, I was targeted because I listened to Weird Al. Again, not sure why, but it was consistent. People would just make fun of me for listening to Weird Al. Hey Hudson, you listening to Weird Al today? You know, that sort of thing. In the 7th grade, my English teacher assigned a lip sync project, which is to pretend to sing a song in front of the class by mouthing the words. You know what a lip sync is. Immediately, I realized I could not do Al. I'd really wanted to do Dare to Be Stupid or Midnight Star. That was a really high one for me that didn't make it. Always thought Al doesn't get enough credit for his original songs. I digress. Either way, since at the time I was being made fun of for listening to Al, I had to pick something else, not understanding that middle school kids inherently are awful to each other and that whatever song I picked would be mercilessly mocked. I knew I had to think of something. My friend had a record collection in his basement, and one of the songs on one of those records I thought was pretty cool, and I thought there was no way they could make fun of me for lip syncing this song. For the next several years, my peers would never let it go as they made fun of me. Hey, Kilroy, I got a secret for you. Hindsight is 2020. I think Al would get a kick out of my inept 12-year-old self's choice to pick a song that wouldn't get me bullied. Hilariously, somebody commented on this and said, if this dumb story and the way you told it is any indication, perhaps picking on you was not such a bad idea. I took days to respond to that, actually, and I wrote, thanks for taking time out of your day to tell me how much you disliked what I had to say and that you think it was right for me to get relentlessly mocked. At least I'm not an asshole to people on the internet for no reason. He never did respond to that. So sorry for the long-winded story, but I had to share my little anecdote.
That was a good story.
yeah.
Uh, as the other person who rated the song, I like 95% of it. It's the ending that just kind of has always seemed at odds with the rest of it. Like I know.
Do you know the story of the song?
No.
Okay, that would make sense then. Okay,
Yeah.
so like the album was written as a fucking musical. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It tells a story. And when they did the tour, they actually performed this, like they were all actually acting and stuff.
Oh.
And Kilroy is a rock star in a world where rock and roll has been banned, and he's in prison because he killed somebody with his guitar, and he sneaks out of prison dressed as a Mr. Roboto.
Oh. Okay, because
if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see like a lot of the anyway. It's crazy. It's not necessarily good, but
okay, it does give it some context.
It does.
Because going into it, the only Kilroy that I was familiar with was like the little graffiti from the little dude peeking over the wall. Kilroy was here. So I'm like, is there some deeper cultural relevance to that that I don't know about? So that never made sense to me. Now I at least have something.
No,
to
I
go
feel
off
the
of.
same way. When I was a kid listening to the song, the end was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
Kilroy?
Right, yeah.
I didn't find
Okay.
out till I was, college, actually.
Okay.
YouTube, and I finally looked up the music video
Sure.
or whatever, and you can find all that stuff. And
Okay, I'll have to do that.
yeah, it's
Cool.
worth looking up.
Okay, thanks.
For me, just real quick, I honestly I would say that this, as far as like songs that you think are like iconic to like the 80s, is extremely high. Like it's like it's one of those that if you had somebody name 80 songs, they probably would name this very quickly. But overall, it's I like enjoy parts of it, but it just wasn't enough to make the list here for me. So
Uh, Also, it's the third band that was a prog rock band in the 70s and became a synth band in the 80s. My third of that list.
Okay.
Rush, Genesis, Styx. They're all in the same category of big prog rock bands in the 70s, and I loved their 80s shtick.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nothing much for me on this one. Just kind of thinking about how famous the song is, and is there a different method that more Americans and other people around the world learn Japanese from than this song? I don't know. I'm just asking.
probably not.
It's good stuff, but yeah, I didn't know what the story was either. I just said really plays like a secret agent song in my notes, but really, really good song. So
Yeah.
great one. All right, let's go to 78, Van Halen. Now this is another big 80s band. Only has one entry on our list here, and the only one that made it is Jump here at 78. Justin had this up at number 23. Justin.
Okay, so for a lot of these songs that I picked, especially the higher ones, they tend to have like a deeper meaning or like, subtext to them and such. But I can still appreciate a good, just energetic, peppy, happy song like this. To me, this is a very summery song. Like if I had to assign a season to like any of the songs on this list, I wouldn't even hesitate to give this one summer. It feels like it to me. It just feels like summer vacation. It feels like freedom from responsibilities. It just feels like sunshine and the beach and just enjoying life. And every once in a while, you just need something that's simple and pure and fun. And for me, Jump is a very strong embodiment of that sort of thing. So
I'm gonna shatter that now because I love
You
this song
bastard.
too. No, but again, I recently learned that the lyrics to the song were inspired by, by a guy who was going to commit suicide by jumping off a building, and someone yelled, "Go ahead and jump," and they turned that into a song. They changed the meaning on it, but still, I just like.
This is why we can't have nice things.
No, but I just like I thought that was crazy.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is. Oh, holy crap.
But
All right. I still like the song.
no,
But...
I do too. Like it's certainly an 80s energetic, let's go get him.
Let's have him go get himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly myself enjoy quite a bit of Van Halen, and this is up there, among their songs. I think I agree a lot with what Justin said. It's just it's one of their. They have a lot of songs that are kind of fun in general tone, but this is up there, in that as well. So, yeah, just a really fun song all around.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how many bands in the 80s I love to sit and listen to the greatest hits of that have like one entry on this list, or like I didn't even vote for an entry or I voted really low just because it's so hard. But there are so many like greatest hits that I love from the 80s. This one, has there ever been like a song where somebody that knew how to play the keyboard was as excited to play the keyboard as this song too? Like, it's fantastic. Oh my gosh. This has got like the upper parts, the downer parts of the song are all great. This is like maybe objectively not their best song, but it's probably the one that defines Van Halen the most for me, I would say. So.
Yeah, it does have it's a keyboard solo. I'm listening to it right now.
And Am I wrong? I'm not a big Van Halen person, but synth is not a normal thing for them, right? Like they're more guitar based, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. Maybe a little bit on this particular album, but yeah, I would say so. All right, let's keep it going. Number 77. We're going to get another entry from you two. This one is I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. And Justin has this as the high at number 33. Justin.
Okay, so remember how I said a lot of my higher ranked songs tend to be ones with a lot of meaning to them? This falls into that category because it's at its core, I think, all about unrealistic expectations or like painting someone as being larger than life, larger than they really are. And then once you're finally there and with them and you've got their attention, they fall short. I mean, it's all throughout the song. I have climbed the highest mountains. I have run through the fields, only to be with you, only to be with you, etc. and so on. It keeps going, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And he keeps going through all of these, these things that he's done, this everything he's put himself through to finally be with, with this person. And yet something is still lacking. There's still something that that he thinks should be there that isn't. And it's all about the dangers of putting someone on a pedestal, of chasing someone to the point of distraction, to the point of all else, and still, and then finally realizing it, and then realizing at the same time that it's not all it was cracked up to be. It's a bit like the Cake song, "Short Skirt, Long Jacket," where in that one it's all about like he wants a girl with these all these conflicting and contrasting elements, and you're not going to find that in anybody. But I mean, songs like that are always interesting because they acknowledge that no one's perfect. And if you start to look at someone as perfect as what you've all as anything and everything you could ever possibly want, and you just put on blinders and focus entirely on that to the exclusion of all else, you're setting yourself up for disaster. And I just think it's a powerful message that you see cropping up periodically in songs, and it usually makes for a good listen if you really stop and do listen to it. So
Yeah, might as well jump.
It's a great. No, I like that. That's good. This was one of the ones that I'm like, I don't know this song, and then I listened to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know that song. But in all honesty, I thought it was a Sting song.
Interesting.
I thought it was. I equated it with Fields of Gold.
Oh,
but after I was looking and I was thinking of Where the Streets Have No Name, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's I can see the correlation there. But
this is a song. It's just it feels a bit more emotional, and as Justin was talking about just how the lyrics go, maybe it is more like personal to like Bono or something like something he experienced, because it feels like there's something in his voice that sounds like it has a bit more emotion in it, and just the melody itself is very nice. So this is definitely one of their songs that I enjoy the most. So I also had it up pretty high on my list.
Yeah, great song here from U2, and not my favorite U2 song again, but really, really good. And then Joe would probably agree with this, but you can give Bono a lot of shit, and he probably deserves some of it for how he holds himself. But this is like for whatever 6, 7, maybe even 8 years, like U2's songwriting was peak, man. Like they just threw out so many hits in that short span. It's pretty crazy. To where they're just legends now, but it really was impressive what they put out. And this is one of those songs. So, okay, let's go to 76. This is somehow we made it all the way to 76, and this is the first song that I had the highest rank for a song on. I don't know how that's possible, but that's where we're at, mathematics and numbers. 76 is Crowded House. Don't dream it's over. to me, this is one of those really seminal 80s songs. It's just also, I think, one of maybe the most beautiful songs that I've ever heard. It's just very soft, very melodic, very harmonic as well with some of the way they sing in the song, and just a great tune overall. And just, I don't know, at least I think the message just from the title is just kind of, keep the hope alive and remember the good times and keep the memories close. That's kind of what I think of with this one. So, how about somebody
No,
else?
no, I would echo that. Um, Back during COVID, I watched the miniseries The Stand several times while I was working because it just was nice to have it in the background. And they played this at the beginning of part 2 of that, and I just really remember it. My sister had a Crowded House album, which I remember really liking, but I don't remember any of the tracks on it. I know they're kind of treated as a one-hit wonder, but I remember thinking that their music was really quite good. In fact, there was another song of theirs I voted for on this, but I failed to realize it wasn't the song I thought it was, and it was my number 100 anyway, so that's hilarious.
Interesting.
But no, it's a very, very calming piece.
It is. It's very dreamlike. It's very ethereal, and my main memories of it are, I swear, it was used as for a commercial for like a cruise line in the 80s or early 90s to like the Caribbean or something like that.
Poop line?
Well, yeah, the poop cruise. But I mean, it's a sensible pick because you're supposed to get away and relax and just let your worries melt away when you're on a cruise, or so I've been told. But that's really the only solid memory I have of this song. It would just come on periodically and just like come to Jamaica, and then just like this would start playing, or the Caribbean, or wherever the hell it was from. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of strong attachment to this one, but it is very pretty.
No, it's very iconic. That chorus is so damn good. Like it's really great. I'd say the verses are okay. The chorus is amazing. But for me personally, was just a song that fell out of the top 100 because the rock songs were just pushing everything out at that point. So
fair enough. All right, let's go to number 75. They had a few hits here, but our only one in the countdown by Men at Work. This is Down Under. Joe had this the highest at number 18. I'm pretty positive this has to be where most people in America picked up the word Vegemite. I mean, that's got to be that. And I didn't know, but I looked up earlier. Apparently, this is actually considered a fairly patriotic song in Australia that they play before real sporting events there as like a pump-up song for the nation. I was not aware of that, but it's a great tune. It's good. It's kind of wacky. It's got kind of some silly lyrics to it where you're like, what exactly am I listening to here? Is somebody in Australia? Apparently, it's about an Australian visiting the globe, which kind of makes sense, I guess, with some of the other lyrics. But it's a good tune here at number 75. What do you guys got?
Well, I'm going to throw out a bit of trivia because it's my main connection to the song. This was top of the charts the day I was born. So
Okay.
I have
Tattoo.
So I have mixed feelings about the song as a result of that. It's not bad, but it definitely didn't break my top 100.
I didn't vote for it, but I did vote for another Men at Work song called Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jive, which that's the one I know by them. But it's a good song. I've always liked it. So
it's very fun. As Cody said, like the lyrics are kind of silly at points, and like I think because of that, it has a certain like feel to where it's like not necessarily like a serious song. Like it's just kind of, it feels kind of silly, but it's very fun, and I do enjoy listening to it when it comes on.
Okay, let's take a look at number 74. Another legendary artist here, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I Love Rock and Roll at number 74. Brett's got number 59, which is its peak position between the five of us, but I think I did see that like 3 people did vote for it, though. Yeah, so we're all pretty close here. 59, 61, 66. Brett, why don't you kick us off?
Sure thing. Uh, I think it's just like that the guitar riff, like right off the bat, uh, is just very cool and iconic within the rock world. And this is definitely a song where, you know, you'll hear this at sporting events and uh, it's on like every jukebox in the world, probably just about. And uh, it feels like you hear it everywhere. And so there's a reason for that. And I think it's just it's really fun and just a really good guitar riff, like I said. And I love listening to it when it comes out.
Yeah, great musicality. Joan Jett has a fantastic voice. It's just, yeah, it's a good hard driving song, and yeah, it's just fun to listen to. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it. It's just a good listen.
Uh, can't really add a whole lot to it, except I will say this, that when it comes down to Weird Al parodies, I almost always end up drifting towards the original song rather than the parodies to what I listen to if I want to listen to that song. Never did really catch on to this one, although I've never really heard it all that much. I've only heard Weird Al's version. But it's a good song. That's all I got.
Joan Jett, yeah, great song. Simple lyrics, really easy to visualize, just like going to the jukebox, putting it in there, the dime, and playing the song. It's another one that I feel like, along with We're Not Going to Take It, it's just going to live forever. Like, this song's just never going to die, even in 100 years from now or whatever. Um, Trivia, not trivia, I guess, in the question sense of the term, but Joan Jett was the first musician I saw play in concert, I think, in my life. Actually, she played a double bill with somebody else that's coming up on the list in this episode, but it was interesting to hear her like 80s stuff and then her newer music, which was a lot more dirty and sexual, I think. Let's put it that way, I guess. So I was like, whoa, this
Hmm.
is interesting. Not the Joan Jett that I know of here always, but still good. It was still good music,
Yeah.
but it's not what I knew. So I'm pretty sure she could make me her bitch still today. So there's that. She's a badass. All right, number 73 is up next. This is Bill Medley and Jennifer Warnes. I've had the time of my life. I guess I had a high score at 40 on this one. This is just one of those classic 80s songs. Fantastic. The melodies between the two singers here, just having like a guy and a girl, and some of these other bands we've mentioned have had two women or two men or whatnot, but the way they go back and forth over top of each other, and then also the like interplay between the verses of how they alternate back and forth, and the build to where they get to like that, chorus with the title in there is just really second to none. It's top notch. And another one that probably will live on more than it would have otherwise because of the movie Dirty Dancing, of course, with the big lift scene, which I went on YouTube and watched. I was listening to this on Spotify, and then I went back and listened to the song again in Dirty Dancing on YouTube to be like, I just want to watch the lift with the thing. I want somebody to lift me like that. That was out loud. All right, Les. Yes, somebody else on this one.
Um, yeah, I also am most familiar with it. I am most familiar with it, I should say, from the movie Dirty Dancing, because years and years and years ago, my wife and I sat down and watched it together because I'd never seen it.
You
Really
thought
liked
it
the
was something
soundtrack.
else.
I knew what I was getting into,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
the soundtrack pulled me through. Not really my type of movie in general, but yeah, it was. It's a very iconic song. I agree. Not necessarily one of my faves, but interesting little bit of trivia though, because that leads me to one other obscure bit of of media lore. They made a Dirty Dancing video game. I remember seeing it on the shelves of, I want to say it was Media Play back in the day, and the back of it looked pretty terrible. I have no idea how it actually played, but this is a thing that existed at one time. It might be lost media at this point, but um, if this podcast inspires you to check out anything, and you have very odd tastes, might want to put that on your radar. I can't imagine it's good, but it's got to be a conversation piece.
Yeah, absolutely like it. You cannot separate this song from the movie Dirty Dancing. It is what it is. That and probably for that reason, it like I did have this on my list briefly in the early iterations, but it did get booted out, and probably in part simply because it is linked to the movie.
Worked against it.
Yeah, was not working in its favor there.
I do see the PC games available for $10.99 on Amazon with free shipping.
I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. So, of course, I think of this one with Dirty Dancing as well. I also had to watch that movie with my wife, and had never seen it, but she didn't believe that I had never seen it because, and this is an interesting story. I was a groomsman in a mutual friend of several of ours weddings, a guy named Dan. You know who I'm talking about, Cody.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Guest
like
host Dan. He's on here sometimes.
So so like my wife was a bridesmaid, and I didn't really talk to her much that night. We didn't get together for like 5 or 6 years after this, by the way. But I guess I walked up to their table and said something about, why are you in the corner? So she was talking about how we met to someone years later. And she's like, well, we were at this wedding together, and he came up and quoted Dirty Dancing to me. And I'm like hell I did. I've never even seen that movie. But I guess I said that. But hey, things work out for the best. But I actually really like the movie, and I really like the song. Don't know how it's not in my top 100. It seems like it would be, but there's a lot of songs there, and it made it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. There were several songs I looked at. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be in the top 100. I don't got to put any numbers in for it. So I'll put in something else, which no one else is going to even consider.
Rankings may or may not be accurate for our top 100 list as we go through. All right. Okay, next up, 72, Bryan Adams, Summer of 69. And Brett's got the high on this one at 40. We're in Brett world for a while here.
Yeah. We I feel like this was one that like we was this one of the ones that wasn't on the list originally and then we like added it later?
Might have been.
And then I was like, oh shit, yeah, that was gotta be up there. Because it is a really fun song. We talked about in the last batch about how Tom Petty Running Down a Dream feels like a summer driving song. And this has gotta be like one of those top songs in that subcategory. It just has a quality that's really fun and just makes you feel good about like just kind of being free, I guess. And that the lyrics definitely are about that, just kind of like being young and just kind of like living your life. But yeah, just a great song overall. I really enjoy it.
I will echo everything you said. It's a great song, summer song, driving down the road song. One of the things you didn't mention, which I feel like gotta mention because I find it fucking hilarious, is we all think about it as the title is nostalgia, looking back, and like, yeah, the years of our childhood when we were late teens, and he was 10 years old in 1969. Bryan Adams was. I don't know if this is true, but what I've always heard is that it's a reference to 69, the sexual position.
Nice.
That's what I've always heard. And since he was 10 in 69, like, I think that's what he's not talking about, like, that year. He's talking about.
Matt's making a lot of hand gestures for our audio listeners out there.
Oh,
yes.
man.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
You'll have to ask him. You got connections in the biz. You got that comment on that YouTube thing, and you got Justin. Anything from you on this one?
No, it's a song I like well enough. I don't love it. It's got a good beat to it. It is very nostalgic, perhaps in ways we hadn't anticipated. But yeah, it's one that I will listen to if it pops up on the radio, but I rarely would search it out. It's not one of my faves, but it's not bad by any means.
Interesting you've said that way, because this is also not a song I don't think I would ever search out, but if there was any time it came on, I'd be like, hell yeah, Summer '69's on, let's do this. But it is just such a relatable topic prior to Matt shitting all over our childhood dreams. But it does seem like if you had friends or a young romance or anything, like you kind of had that feeling. I mean, the lyrics literally in this song that like the summer would last forever, right? It's just kind of that feeling you had of like, you can do anything I want. It's total freedom. It's going to be great. And this is another one that's just a fantastic rocker. For my money, probably his highest mark that he had in his career. Some romantics may say otherwise, but that's where we're at with that one. And for funsies, if anybody knows the musical artist Ryan Adams, I've heard if you scream, "Can you play Summer of '69" from the
He gets
front
really
rows,
pissed
he
off
gets
at
really
that.
pissed off at that. So that's fun too. But we'll move on to number 71 to finish up this 10. It's our first appearance of another multi-time artist here. It's Michael Jackson, the first of his 3 appearances here with Beat It. And Brett had this highest here at number 30.
We all Michael Jackson is always known as the king of pop, but honestly, quite a number of his songs in the 80s they were very, very like rocking. Like I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for that personally. And this song definitely I feel like really kind of brings that to the front. It like the guitar end is like really good. Like it's like really enjoyable guitar. And just the the general vibe of it is much more, I would say, rock than pop. And I just very fun and catchy, just all around, just very enjoyable for me.
Yeah. Probably my strongest memory of this song is I was in probably like 4th grade or elementary school, and it's in some level or another, and I had just recently heard the song, and I subconsciously, without even realizing it, I was like humming it off and on in class, like audibly, like not even realizing, just because it was that catchy. And the first time it happened, it's just like I was like, oh crap, that was me, and I just sort of like tried to play it off, but then just 10 minutes go by, and all of a sudden I'm doing it again, and I got in trouble because the song was catchy enough that I just, without even realizing it, had it stuck not in only in my head, but had it kind of coming out of my mouth as I was humming it. And just very solid, very catchy, very good beat. One of the few times I really got in trouble at school. So
thanks, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, thanks, jerk.
Jerk.
Maybe Cody will disagree with me, but you probably got in trouble because your teacher was mad that if they didn't call you out for something,
that might have been it.
The kids who actually are
Justin.
problems would be like, why didn't you call Justin out on that?
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
That's at least that's me. Like, anyway,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
We digress.
And most teachers, that's probably true. I'd be like, no, I like him. You know what I forgot about this song till I was listening to it earlier, and I always forget about it, is how weird the like 15-second industrial sounding intro on this song is, where it's like boom, 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 and then he gets into it, and I'm like, whoa, I forgot about that every single time. What a beat, though. This has got to be the best beat in any Michael Jackson song. Has to be. I was trying to think earlier, like how big this guy was at the time. And I mean, Taylor Swift's the only person I could think of to compare in today's world, but it's a little different because he's based on dancing and like just authority with those lyrics. She's a little more graceful with what she does, but it's a different time, man, different energy. It's a great song, though.
Yeah.
You waited for Joe was gone to say that.
Yeah. Anything from you, Matt? You good?
No, I like.
Had you heard this one before, or?
Well, at least the Weird Al version. But no, it's an iconic song. I like the opening, like industrial part, as you call it. I think that's one of my like that into the song is I think the best. Remember how I said when I listen to a Weird Al song and I like it, I end up drifting to the original more
Yeah.
if it's a parody. This is one of those examples. Like, yeah, it's a great song, but like, why not? The original is obviously like much better. So like,
Yeah. I can't confirm, but I heard he was only 10 in 1969, so the beat up might really be about. Let's go to number 70.
I mean, that is the dance he does in the thing. If you've seen the video, he does the dance like that.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. All right, number 70, we got another multi-time artist here. Motley Crue coming in for their first song of two in our countdown. This is the song Home Sweet Home, and Brett had this highest again at number 26. Brett, he somehow found a way to beat the system, so go ahead.
Yes. So I mean, this, obviously Motley Crue is, most well known for like all the hair metal stuff. But this song is just, for me, is, for a rock song, is like really beautiful and like just very melodic, and there's like, it's probably just, because of the lyrics they're talking about wanting to be and go home, and how like important that kind of like is to you, and I think that like it hits home with a lot of people, and it just there probably aren't many songs on this list that have more emotion behind it for me than this song. So I think it's as I saw it, it's like the singing is very, for a hair metal song, is very beautiful in this. So
I think I'm the only other person that had this one ranked at 55, Brett. I don't really understand why, because Motley Crue is a band I knew of. I mean, at a fairly younger-ish age, I could tell you like Dr. Feelgood and Kickstart My Heart and Shout at the Devil and all these other songs. And I don't know why, but I feel like I didn't know about this song till much later than all of the rest of them. So like it honestly blows my mind that it says 1985, because I would have guessed this must have been like a 90s song of theirs that slipped through that I didn't know about or something. But yeah, a lot of what you said is what I'd echo as well. Piano in this song in particular, just really fun. Um, just again, kind of a fun way to spin the like phrase "home sweet home," like trying to wish instead of being there, perhaps, like you said. And then also like Motley Crue has guitar work normally, but when they have the piano in this song, they like do the piano and then it stops, and there's just like this really fun note where they're like, it kind of just goes out of it. And I'm like, oh, that's super fun how that's emphasized so much because it's out of piano. So
I don't know. I don't know that I know a single Motley Crue song. But when I listen to this, it was not what I was expecting it to be.
yeah, you want to listen more now, don't you?
I'm going to have to listen to some more now.
Yeah, they all sound
But
like this.
all I'm going to say is that's not what. Because I'd gone through the list on this one, and every song I'd looked up, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what that song is now. And I was expecting it on this one as well, but I was just like, no, I don't know that song. But it's nice. It's not what I was. Very smooth.
Yeah, but yeah, expecting more like this would be like, hearing Disturbed's cover of The Sound of Silence and being like, hey, that's up my alley.
Did Disturbed do a cover of The Sound of Silence?
Ixnay on the.
You've mentioned Disturbed several times doing covers recently.
Disturbed is good,
and I'm gonna have to listen to some of their songs now, because I don't know them.
Their cover of Sound of Silence is fantastic.
You should listen to that one at least, Matt.
That one is really good.
What else? You said they did a cover of something else.
Land of Confusion.
Land of Confusion. Okay, sorry.
Yep. Which is more in line with their standard stuff, but Sound of Silence is a bit different, and it is just I would say listen to that one first, and then if you like that, give their cover of Land of Confusion a shot too. It would, and that'll give you more of an idea of what they're normally like. So
There's a lot of famous YouTube videos of people crying listening to the Disturbed version of Sound of Silence.
Mhm. Yeah, it's fantastic. Anyway,
I liken it, Matt. Here's
everything.
an analogy for you, Matt. I liken it to how Johnny Cash did "Hurt" versus Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails.
Strangely enough,
their version just invokes a different emotion.
Yeah,
I use "Hurt" as a reason to say that people shouldn't dislike the gravelly voice of Tom Waits.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. All right, where are we at? We're all over the place here. We're three-lining kugels in here.
I broke it.
Holy cow. Anything else on Home Sweet Home? We're good. All right.
We're good.
Let's go to the big 6-9 here. We're going to go to Def Leppard, another iconic 80s band. Their only entry here made it was Pour Some Sugar on Me, and Brett somehow again at number 21.
Yes, I'm clearly the most knowledgeable of songs between 80 and 60. So
I guess.
This for me, I as they say, you had this at 21 overall on my list. It's very like when I hear the title of the song, I'm just like instantly, yes, that is a great song. I love this song. And that the chorus on this is just very fun and very catchy. I have no idea what the song's about. I honestly, I don't think I could tell you anything about what the song's about. But it's very fun to sing, and I just for me just is so fun and like had to be high up on the list. So
this looks like another one only you and I ranked, so I'll jump in here as well. So this was the other band I was alluding to. So it was a Joan Jett Def Leppard concert in Marquette. That was the first concert I was actually ever at, was in college. So my mom had the Hysteria album on cassette when I was younger, and I'd listen to that. It had Rocket and some other great stuff on it as well. And this is another band where like their greatest hits, Vault, if you have that album, is just fantastic. I mean, there's so many good songs. I mean, 12, 15 good songs, top-notch stuff that I love. This is kind of probably the most famous song, I'm sure, and one I've always really liked since I was a young kid. And I don't know if I achieved it, but I like to think that I'm hot, sticky, sweet is how I've lived my life these past 45 years. So,
whereas I sadly cannot divorce Def Leppard, or especially this song, from the movie Balls of Fury, which, if you're unfamiliar, I don't blame you, but it is imagine if Enter the Dragon was instead a comedy centered around ping pong, and that's Balls of Fury. And I remember the main character being obsessed with Def Leppard, to the point where his sacred ping pong paddle like had it had their logo emblazoned across it and stuff. And yeah, it's sadly those two are inextricably linked in my mind at this point. So
do you have a thing against one-armed drummers? Just tell us.
I do not.
Always impresses the hell out of me too.
Yes, yeah.
This was the one song. This was I believe the first song I listened to where I realized, oh yeah, okay, it's that song. Yeah, I know that song. It's a nice song. It's a good song. But I was just like, until that awesome when that hit in, I'm just like, yeah, oh yeah, I've heard this several times before. But I wouldn't have known it. I wouldn't have known it by title or artist. I thought Def Leppard was more of a 70s thing.
I think there maybe were a little bit of both. They went into the 90s too, though, so I don't know if that's true.
I might be getting them confused with other names that sound similar to me.
Well, once Sammy Hagar took over the band, then it was a whole different sound at that point. So Matt doesn't get that joke because he didn't know what's going on right now, but that's okay. That was Van Halen, Matt. That was Van Halen. All right. All right, let's go to the number 68. We're getting higher here. We got people making their debut with two songs coming up on our list, including this one, Pat Benatar, one of the most recent artists I think I've seen in concert, with Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Justin had this at 16. He likes his ladies.
I do. Pat Benatar, also just a phenomenal voice. And this one, in addition to being just a really, having a good beat, a real, just a real fun song to listen to and sing along with. I've also always kind of felt like it was a shot at her taking a shot at the music industry as a whole, or like I hesitate to use the term the patriarchy, but also just basically saying that she's here, she's that she is good at what she does, she's confident that she's good at what she does, and basically fuck the detractors, hit me with your best shot, what are you going to do? And I really kind of I appreciate that energy. It's just cool. It's a very powerful song if you think about it that way. So it's just, yeah, it's one that I've always really liked.
I'll just got this one ranked. Brett had this one ranked.
Yeah. This is another one like I had mentioned this with I Love Rock and Roll. I think that it just like it's kind of like one of those that's kind of like a bit of everywhere. Like they play at like sporting events. It's on jukeboxes across the world everywhere. It's just like a classic rock song. And I just for me, it has that iconic status that like had to put it on this list somewhere.
Yeah, not too much else for me here. It's a good song. I didn't rank it, but it is a good song. I remember seeing or hearing or reading once upon a time, and I actually Googled this, and I even used quotes around certain phrases to try to find it earlier today, but there was a story I read a long time ago, and I don't know if this is widespread or not, that this is apparently a very popular karaoke song for ladies to sing in bars, but a lot of them mistake the title as Hit Me With Your Wet Shot. And this is I'm not making this up. This sounds like a joke I would do, but it's not. I actually saw this someplace, and I tried to Google it, and nothing is showing up on the internet. So I don't know what's going on right now. But
she was only 10 years old that summer, Cody.
and I don't think I want to Google that phrase myself. So
come on, get it in there. It's the only time this summer I logged on to my school account just to do that search, and then I logged back off. So there we go. Anything else, Pat Benatar, from anybody?
Is this the only Benatar on there? I'm assuming
there's one more. There's one more coming up yet. Okay, great. Moving on. Well, we're going to get to our other Tom Petty song next at number 67, Tom Petty, Free Fallin'. And Justin had this highest at 25. Justin.
Okay, so this one, it is one of those songs where if you just look at the lyrics, it looks very repetitive, kind of like I'm trying to remember which one it was earlier. Yeah, Rebel Yell. But it does, underneath that repetition, there's a lot of meaning behind it. And this is to me a song about youthful irresponsibility and the highs and lows of that. Like, it starts off with talking about how she's a good girl who loves her mama, all that stuff, and then that whole section ends with, and I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart, and I'm free falling, and it goes on from there, and then it segues into other topics and such, but all of them end with cutting loose from any attachment, any responsibility, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, being free, sometimes at a cost, sometimes as a liberation. And it's just, I don't know, there's a lot of nuance to the song, despite how many times the terms, no, I'm free fall, and get repeated. There's still a lot of meaning behind all of that. And it's just plus it just has a good musicality to it. So yeah, just one I've always enjoyed.
All right, Brett, you had this one ranked also.
Yeah. Another just really great Tom Petty song. It definitely is, he has a lot of songs where it is like telling a story. He's definitely like a songwriter, like a storyteller. And I do enjoy also that the and as I'm listening to it right now, I'm not certain if it's like fully acoustic, guitar or if it's like electric guitar just without the the distortion on it. But it's very enjoyable. Like I just like the sound of the guitars in this one. It's like kind of just relaxing a bit and a little more calm than some of the other songs on this list.
Yeah, as for me, I remember I double checked because I was like, I must have ranked this, and I didn't. And I now that I looked, I remember cutting this one off of the list purely because of the number limit. But it was painful when I cut it because this is another artist that like I could name you 12 songs by this guy, and they're all fantastic. Especially where we grew up, like Tom Petty was a pretty big deal. I mean, people listen to
I'd
Tom
say
Petty
so, yeah.
quite a bit there, so I do think it's accurate in terms of my personal top 100, but it was painful to cut him off. It's a great song. It's a beautiful song. It's again like Tom Petty is an artist I will always respect and listen to a song by if somebody has one they want me to listen to. So, Matthew, you have anything on that?
I had with this was one of those songs that I felt could have been written in the 70s, could have been written in the 80s, or could have been written in the 90s. It doesn't really have a decade identity to me.
I can see
It's a
it.
great song. I love it. It's on my playlist, as a lot of these songs are. But I probably just scrolled past it because I'm like, there's other songs that feel more 80s to me, I guess.
Okay. All right, let's
But
go
it
to. Oh,
almost have to
sorry,
like
Brett.
also just mention how everyone in junior high sang "Free Ballin'," and so that's just a fun memory also.
I read this thing about karaoke one time. I don't know if it's true or not, but all right. Number 66, we have Devo with Whip It, their iconic 80s song here on this one. Joe had it the highest at number 22. He's not here to defend that one, but let's go with second on this one. Justin, I guess you were next highest on this.
Okay. So not like towards the top of my list, but it's still a very catchy song. It's got a kind of a quirky beat to it. But if you really listen to the lyrics, there's you could argue that there's a message here as well. And I honestly think it's about the rat race, so to speak. Uh, you know, um, Always trying to stay on top of things, trying to drive yourself forward, at work, not letting anything get in your way, even to your own detriment. When a problem comes along, you must whip it. Before the cream sets out too long, you must whip it. When something's going wrong, you must whip it. Now whip it into shape it up, get straight, go forward, move ahead, try to detect it. It's not too late. It's a constant, always, keep pushing, 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 pushing. And that was very much the corporate mindset of like office culture. Still is, you could argue. And it seems like only in recent years, recent decades, that people are finally starting to push back against that and, look to maybe try to figure out ways to take time for themselves again instead of just constantly letting work just drive them until they've, run out of gas. So high energy, but there's that manic kind of darker side to that high energy, at least in terms of the subject matter of the song, I think, which gives it, a bit more weight.
Yeah, you use the word quirky, and I think that is the nail on the head with Devo. Like, just especially with the video for this song is just so weird. Um, but it's like I think it's one of those things from the 80s that is like visually iconic also, not just like sonically iconic, but um such
Perhaps.
it is very catchy also. um just it's a fun song. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one. I don't have a lot to say on this one. I do think it's a good song. I think it's probably not as good as its reputation is in history, but it's definitely like one of those, if you had to pick iconic 80s songs, I guess maybe some people did do that for this. I was trying to pick my favorites or the best or quote unquote, but I don't think it makes the top 100 there with how many songs are in the 80s, but it's definitely an iconic 80s song for sure. Yeah, Matt, do you have? Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna come up a lot during this. Weird Al wrote the song "Dare to Be Stupid." That's essentially based on the Devo sound. I remember going back and listening to some of Devo's hits because I love Dare to Be Stupid and thinking, I understand where Al got the sound for this, but none of these songs are grabbing me like Dare to Be Stupid did. What I mean, there were a couple that did, but like certainly Whip It was not among them to me. Uh,
I could see that
um,
now that you said that, honestly, though. Like that song of Al's with
yeah.
Devo. I could see that.
No, most of Al's like original work is based on someone else's work.
Hmm.
The style. And that's Dare to Be Stupid was based on Devo, so
I thought you were going to bring up the story. This is one of my favorite stories within music. Is that the lead singer from Devo? I couldn't tell you his name, but he he told this story in an interview about how he heard uh, Weird Al's "Dare to Be Stupid," and instantly, like, essentially, his feeling was like, "That is the song I've been trying to write this entire fucking time, you asshole." Like, and he like hates Weird Al eternally for writing the song that he's been trying to write. I just love that story.
yeah, that's brilliant.
That's very funny. Oh my God. Okay, let's go to 65. We have Whitesnake, another metal slash hair band. I guess more hair band here than this one. Here I Go Again. This is Brett with number 48. Not very high, but it must have been ranked on several people's lists then. And yeah, looks like it was on three people's lists. So Brett, what do you got?
I mean, this one, it's another one where it is, kind of like very melodic, and the chorus is, he definitely has like some rock, like graveliness to his vocals in the chorus, but also has like a bit of beauty to it, and it's a song that I've always appreciated for that quality, and it kind of like just hits this sweet spot where it still is very rocking and borderline metal at points, but also has a very beautiful side to it. So
Yeah, it feels like it's very much a song about being true to yourself for better or worse. Uh, if people don't like that, people will come, people will go. Sometimes they'll fall by the wayside. But if you stay true to yourself and keep walking your road, even if you're doing it alone, you're still being authentic. And yeah, I think it's a bittersweet message, wrapped up in a very melodic, a very well crafted song. So yeah, I enjoyed this one too.
It's a nice song. This is the one where I was listening to it, and I'm actually listening to it right now to get the timing, so I can tell you exactly what point I'm like, oh, it's that song. Because for like the first minute, I'm
Yeah.
thinking this is kind of a pretty melodic song. It's not what I'm expecting anybody else to like. I don't see it as being iconic. And I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. 1 minute, 20 seconds. A minute and 20 seconds. It took me. It's like I almost stopped it before that point.
mm.
And but yeah, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that song. I don't know the band. Um I have no idea what it's about, but it just was like
Justin just
I
told
just
you. Listen.
yeah, I know he did. I know he did. But I was trying to
Nice
find the
joke.
time in the song where it changed.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct because I wrote in my notes, great ballad for like a minute and then boom, here it goes. Like it's a great tune. This used to be on all those infomercials that had the like metal and hairband commercials with the like
We talked
compilations. Oh
we
man.
talked recently about Put Some Sugar on Me. The same effect when I was listening to that and it hit the chorus. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the chorus they always play.
Yeah. This is a great one. White Snake, here I go again. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, 64, we have Duran Duran, Hungry Like the Wolf. It's our only song by Duran Duran. They were another one of those big 80s bands. Um, Joe had Topsies here with number 33 on this one. In light of him not being here, looks like I had 70 after that. This is another band that, like, I will go back and listen to their greatest hits because they have so many songs I do enjoy. 10, 12 again, just like some other bands I mentioned tonight. To the point where it kind of makes me sad that they only have one song in our top 100. I think I voted Rio quite a bit higher. Um, but this is a band where, like, if we were ranking our favorite bands, would have been probably much higher for me than the song itself, which is kind of interesting. Like, this was one thing this activity really opened my eyes to was like I like the band Duran Duran a lot more than the songs by Duran Duran, which is kind of interesting when you start to break things down that way. But I just said like they were like the Backstreet Boys of the 80s if the Backstreet Boys also stole your girl and did the nasties to them while nobody was watching. So, um, love the band, love the song, love the Greatest Hits album. And since Matt was mentioning the Twilight Zone video earlier, shout out to the uncensored Girls on Film video by Duran Duran. So if you like pillow fighting with ladies on logs that are topless, there you go. Anybody have anything else on this one?
See, I can't follow up, topless ladies on logs with saying I've never been a fan, because that just it doesn't fit right. But in terms of Duran Duran, yeah, for whatever reason, I've never really been a fan. I'm not sure if it's like his
You heathen!
voice. I'm not sure if it's like his voice or like just the rhythm of the songs or what, but it's just never really clicked with me. Um, so that's really all I got to say on it. Oh, the cat makes everything better.
I don't. I mean, I know when 80s hits come up, like a ton of them come my way from Duran Duran, but I couldn't name any right now. This is one of the songs that I would know. I didn't rank it because, I mean, there were lots of songs.
Yeah.
Um, frankly, the only one I would have ranked on the top 100 is probably the James Bond theme.
Oh man, that's a good one too. View to a Kill.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. This is the only one on there for the band? I mean, this is probably their biggest, right?
I
Their
don't
biggest
actually
song?
know what their biggest is. It's got to be this or Rio, I think.
Mhm.
I'd have to listen. I'm sure I know what it is, but that the name means nothing to me.
Ordinary World, you know that one, I'm sure. There's an ordinary world.
I do like that song, but I prefer the covers to it because I've
View
heard
to a
several covers that
Kill.
I like more.
The Reflex. I'm cheating. I'm looking at their greatest hits. Is there something I should know? There's all kinds of good stuff on there, but no, Notorious. Let's keep going. All right. Any other thoughts on Duran Duran here? 64. If not, we'll move on to 63. The first appearance of the boss, Bruce Springsteen. He's got two on here on our countdown, and this is Dancing in the Dark. Joe's got this high at number 28. He is not here, so we will go to the next person with the big crush on Courtney Cox. That looks like Justin. So go ahead, Justin.
Okay, I'm not really sure what to say about the song other than I've always just really enjoyed it. It's melancholy, it's heartfelt. It's a love song that just hits on all the right notes. I just have always really enjoyed when I've heard it come on. I've occasionally gone and looked for it, when I've been in like the mood to hear something in that vein. It just has kind of a timeless quality to it. Um, and yeah, I this is one of the ones where I have a harder time really explaining why I like it. It just does it for me. I know it's not necessarily the most satisfying answer, but I just really enjoy the song for what it is.
Okay. And Joe had this one actually quite high, I believe. Yeah,
Did you
number
say anything about it?
28. He did not, but
Oh,
Hmm.
I don't have much to add on this one. I think my thoughts are best summarized by saying,
So, okay. I will add something though. When we
Go
were
ahead, Matt.
talking, we're talking about Devo a minute ago, and I said that most of Weird Al's original songs were based on somebody else's style, and one of my favorites of his originals is called Midnight Star from the In 3D album, and it's always said it was based on Bruce Springsteen, and I couldn't fucking hear it. Like, I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I love Midnight Star, and I'm listening to all these Springsteen songs thinking maybe that's where I'll hear it. I finally heard it when I was listening to this one. I mean, not a, but it's certainly more so than anything else I've listened to. So that's my thoughts.
I don't think I have anything really too interesting to say about the song. I do enjoy it. I think maybe like the vocal progression is maybe like more interesting than some of his other songs, perhaps. But I mean I'm just sitting here listening to it in the background, and that just occurred to me. But I don't have anything to back that up with. But it's an enjoyable song. I didn't have it on my list, but I do enjoy it.
Okay, Justin, you already go? You got anything on this one?
Yeah. You started with me, and
Okay.
I like the song. Exactly.
Okay, great. Let's go on to number 62, Foreigner, who had 10 top songs and 9 sounded the same. And then there was I Want to Know What Love Is was the other one. So Joe had this on number 27. He is not here. Somebody else must have had this ranked, though. Let's go down to Brad.
Would be me. I don't know right offhand what I would say about the song. I just like the chorus is very pretty. It's definitely more as far as their songs just in general. Like they have some more songs that are much more rock heavy, and this is very much kind of like light and has almost like a romantic kind of feel to it, I would say. But it mostly for this one, the chorus is so good that I put it up here on my list. Yeah. So
as for me, fine song. I don't have any strong feelings about it one way or the other. Kind of the same way with Foreigner in general. Really, they were always a band that was sort of just in the background for me, and the only reason that I really know any of their songs at all that are as being by them is because of an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where where Carl the neighbor gets like Foreigner's belt or something like that gives him superpowers, and he ends up like frozen in like a kiddie pool at one point, and he's like, oh no, I'm getting out of this. I'm hot blooded. You check it, you'll see. And it's just like they worked in like the song lyrics into the episode with like the belt's powers and stuff. So it's a
good episode. It's
that's amazing.
Second Moon and Knight's episode. Yes. I had this ranked at 79, and because like I was listening to it on the radio, I don't remember when, not that long ago, probably within a year or two. And the main verse is going, I'm like, oh, it's that song. I remember that song. I should put that on my playlist. And then it got to like one of the main parts, and I'm like, oh, it's also that song. I didn't realize it was that song too. Okay, so and then it hit like the main chorus where the title is, and I'm like, holy crap, that's that song also? I didn't realize those were all the same song.
My 3 favorite songs.
So, yeah, but I mean, only favorite enough to get to 79, but still, I mean.
That's funny. I don't have much to add. It's a fine song, like you guys said. This is always, I was partially joking, but partially not. I really feel like Hot-blooded, waiting for a girl like you, head games, dirty white boy, feels like they have so many songs where I saw a YouTube video one time that was like if you stack Nickelback songs on top of each other, like the time in the song when they hit into the chorus and out of the chorus and into the verse, and like they lined up exactly to a formula. I feel like that was Foreigner years before Nickelback came along. So they're all good songs. They're all, I mean, I'm not saying they're not good songs. They are, but it's, yeah. So. It's a good one though. Quiet Ball's a great one. Um, okay, I think we have reached our last song here for our second batch of songs, number 61. I think this is like a dark horse one at least. Till Tuesday with Voices Carry. I was ecstatic that anybody else picked this for their 100. I was shocked that somebody had it much higher than me for their 100. So, Justin, please tell us about this.
Well, it's a question of like how much I can really say, because this song does have a certain relevance, or at least meaning to me. That's not necessarily one of the higher points of my life, but it's still meaningful. It's a song basically about. I mean, if you haven't heard it before, what it boils down to, it's two lovers basically trying to be quiet, so less anyone else overhear them or know about what they're doing, but also trying to within themselves um, quiet the doubts that they have about their relationship, quiet their fears, their anxieties about whether this will last and whether or whether it's just transitory. And for me, it's kind of a personal thing, like I said, relating to a certain relationship I had ages and ages ago. Whenever I hear the song, I think about that relationship. I think about that girl, and it hits kind of a sore slash soft spot in my heart that will always kind of be there. And like I said, it didn't necessarily end in the greatest of ways. You could argue the relationship itself wasn't necessarily the healthiest, but yeah, it's kind of a personal thing, but it's a song that holds a lot of meaning for me.
I was semi-shocked that this was even on anybody else's list, but I love that it was on anybody else's list. This was not an 80s song that I knew amongst much earlier 80s songs that I fell in love with, but this was one that came along much later in my life. It's an interesting song because when I first heard this, I mean, for the first years probably that I heard this song, I always thought it was about a guy telling his side piece to keep it quiet so like his wife or his friends didn't find out about them, which I thought was an interesting angle for a song. Then later on, I found out it's really the origin of the song was really more about abuse and power in a relationship and who is actually controlling the other person in their relationship. And apparently, the origin for this song, Amy Mann's the lead singer here for Till Tuesday, she heard kind of this scenario play out in real life, except it was flipped, where like this lady was telling like her guy to like keep it quiet, like she didn't want people to know about him, or like was basically silencing him in the relationship, making him less than. But she thought for a song it would be more interesting if she flipped it, and so it's the lady in the song that is the one that is kind of always being told to put in her place and keep her voice down, otherwise, as it says in the title, voices carry, etc. But this is just I mean, it's a dark song at its core, but it's one that I have come to love a lot more over the years as it has stayed in my rotation, I will say. So kudos, Justin, for putting this one on there. I was happy because like I said, I was so busy on like keeping track of all of the logistics of this that I hadn't even looked through the top 100 till I started to go through and put comments down today. So I was like, I didn't know that made the list. Fantastic. Didn't know it was on there. So that's great. So,
Nice.
other people, anything on this one?
I had never heard of it before before a couple days ago, and I must say that it's a very nice song. It will probably end up in my playlist.
Matt Radio.
That's actually what I call my playlist.
Oh, we
It's
know.
a little flash drive called Matt Radio.
Nice.
I'll take it.
If pressed as to try to identify the title of the song, I would have said it's still scary, which it clearly is not. So with that knowledge in hand, I blew right past this in the list and didn't even consider what it actually was because I didn't recognize it. But when I listened to it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I've heard that song before, and it does have a very cool sound in the chorus, especially. So I do enjoy it. I agree. I see how it's kind of like a dark horse entry, but it does have a carries a vibe that I can see being very very loved by people.
Awesome. All right. Any closing comments from us today? I'll do a quick recap here for us. So our songs for this episode, starting at 80, we had Rebel Yell, 79, Mr. Roboto, 78, Jump, 77, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, 76, Don't Dream It's Over, 75, Down Under, 74, I Love Rock and Roll, 73, I've Had the Time of My Life, 72, Summer of '69, and 71, Beat It. And top 10 for the last ones we just did here, 70 is Home Sweet Home, 69, Pour Some Sugar on Me, 68, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, 67, Free Fallin', 66, Whip It, 65, Here I Go Again, 64, Hungry Like the Wolf, 63, Dancing in the Dark, 62 rather, I Want to Know What Love Is, and 61 Voices Carry for our songs here in our second episode of the Sizzlin Summer Spectacular. Count down our top 180 songs. Any last comments from anybody else today out there?
Only that I really, really hope Joe is here for the next episode because I don't want to have to carry his slack for defending one of these since I'm the next highest vote.
Yeah, you mess that up, he'll kill you forever. So,
right, I don't need that kind of pressure. Just tweak
all
himself.
right. I think that is going to do us here then. This has been the Fawn Pod Friends Occasionally Not Disagreeing. Hope you're enjoying our countdown of the top 180 songs. Till then, we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care.
Yeah.
See ya.
Adios.
This has been the Fawn Pod.